Welcome to Land Academy. This is the Cash Flow from Land show, where we show you how to buy unwanted vacant land and sell it for more on the internet. I'm Steve Butala.
I'm Jill DeWitt.
We are your hosts. With over 15,000 completed transactions, we are the experts in this niche land flipping business.
We hold a drawing to win a free property every month. Enter to win by reviewing this show on iTunes and downloading our free ebook at landacademy.com. All right, let's get this show started.
Steve Butala here for Land Academy. Welcome to our Cash Flow from Land show. In this episode, Jill and I talk about modern education. How to teach and learn and educate in the 21st century. This is, Jill, this is not your grandfather's classroom. I've been
mine.
Not
even
exactly.
mine. Not even
I've been waiting to do this show for a long time, and before we get into it, let's take a call from let's take a question from a caller.
You just made me think about, well, when you say my grandfather's classroom, it makes me think of Little House on the Prairie. Could have been that. I mean,
oh my God. You know where I got that line a long time ago?
Yeah, where is that?
It was the Oldsmobile tagline for years and years and years. Oh. This is not your grandfather's Oldsmobile.
You know what, Stephen? That line would have been really good for our cliches the other day.
Yeah, come up with something better, Steve.
That's kind of what I'm saying.
Think a little harder, Steve. I know you got it in you.
Not our classroom even. And you know what? Hold on a moment. I think right now, I'll get more into it in a minute, but I even think that right now that the classroom in 4 years, even a lot changes. It used to be 10 years for big changes. You know what I mean? Now the gap is getting smaller, I think. So the kids that are graduating college right now, 4 years from now, what those kids are going to be going through is going to be leaps and bounds.
So before we get into this topic, let's take a question from a caller.
Thanks a lot. And that would be Jill. Back on track. Okay. All right. Okay. Kelly from Kansas called in and asked, can I do this part-time and keep my day job? I'm not unhappy, but I'd like slowly start building up my plan B.
Excellent.
Like that.
I think you're more qualified. More qualified to answer this than me.
Is it because I work part-time? Is that where you're going with this?
No, it's not where I was going, but that's true too.
Thanks a lot. I rolled in here right before the show.
Yeah, that's what happens. There's a lot that goes into this. It's not just, it's not 30 minutes of horsing around.
Do you know what though? Here's my point though. I'm mentally here. I may not physically be here. Correct? Yeah, I'm in the car. We're talking.
It's a lot. There's a lot of work to this.
I know. Okay. So
you can sub out. Here's the thing about podcasts and radio shows. There's a lot you can sub out. You can sub out the sound engineering, but you can't sub the talent out or the writing. All right. So there's some stuff that goes on. It sounds like this is just, we sat down with the tape recorder and did this. And maybe that's good or bad. I don't know.
Based on what we talked about over coffee.
Yeah. But, if you don't like that kind of show, you're probably not listening to this anyway.
Exactly.
So that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So Kelly, can you do this part-time and keep your day job? Absolutely. We have a number of people in our community that this is their end goal. I mean, sooner versus later. But we tell everybody, don't quit your day job yet. Let's make sure you get this going, you get in a system, you're financially stable, and you're in it. Then it's, stupid for you to keep your day job. So for you, Kelly, you can tone it up, tone it down, however much you want. You want to just do a property a month or a property every few months, and just slowly dive in. You absolutely can. Build up, I just say you get in when you get out, however much you want to commit to it. And then, but you should decide early on, how much time you want to commit to it and create a game plan.
Yeah, well said, Jill. I mean, whatever you decide, make a commitment and do it. Mm-hmm. If you want to do one deal a month and make $5,000 per transaction, that's fine. Make a commitment to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what we're getting? I noticed recently we're getting a lot of questions about, hey, I don't want to start a real estate business. I just want to make enough money to pay my mortgage every month.
True.
That's
just
really, I think,
breathe.
what this caller's getting at. It's, so it makes me think that we need to market some stuff a little bit differently. Mm-hmm. I guess these people are finding us, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm. But yes, Kelly, the answer is yes.
We have many, many members who do exactly that.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know we talk about programs, a lot of our programs in the works, but one of the ones that we've talked about that it's on the list, we just haven't got to it, is your schedule, your thing that you're going to put together, Stephen.
Success calendar.
Yeah, because it's going to be, do you want the 2-year plan? Do you want the 6-month plan? You know, whatever it is, the 5-year plan.
Right.
You know, and if you commit X amount of hours a month, this is what you can expect.
Right.
I love that. Even down, I think you even do by week, that you're working on. And I think
it's by day. That. Well, it depends. I mean, if you want to try to get this done in 30 days, which is very, very feasible in my opinion, it's by day. You know, it's the longer one, 6 months, or it's on the weekend.
Yep.
It's all written. So I just have to get, you know what's holding me up? Maybe you can help me with this. No, now this has turned into a meeting. This has turned into a meeting.
Oh, no. I'm happy to help, Stephen. What do you need? No, I'm serious. I wasn't sarcastic.
I was totally sarcastic. That's the thing about Jill. She'll say some sarcastic stuff and say right after it, it's not sarcastic at all. It's all confusing. Men have been confused by women for a long time.
Oh. Silly. All right, what do you need? I'm happy to help.
The binder.
You need me to go buy you a binder?
No, I want it to be like a real leather binder that looks really, really nice, where you open it and you say, somebody sent me a gift. I want it to be in a custom-made box. You know, maybe I'm overthinking this. I don't want it to be in a plastic 3-ring binder with 3-hole punch, you know. I want it to be nice.
Like a journal, a fancy journal?
Yeah, something like that.
Where you document?
Yes.
That's not hard.
I know, because you're a woman.
I can do that.
Men struggle with this stuff.
If you give me the outline, I'll make it pretty. I'd love to do that.
All right. So, deal.
Thank you. All right. Back to education.
Yeah.
And our classrooms.
How to teach and learn, how to teach and learn. This is a new age we're in, and I think it's now more than ever easy and fast to learn stuff. Mm-hmm. So there's a few ways that you can learn in life. I mean, what are they, Joe? We talk about them in the Cash Flow from Land program, actually.
Are you talking about the adult learning stages? Well,
some people learn by reading a book and taking notes, and they just get it that way. I'm not one of those people. Some people have to literally have to change, work with their hands, do it on the computer, and some people are much better at looking at videos, watching videos or watching other people actually do it. So my whole point to this show is, all of those combined are an option for the first time. I don't think before the internet, that was not the case.
True. You were stuck with the classroom.
Yeah. And reading and taking notes and regurgitating it on a test.
Well, here's some interesting things, because I know people at an automotive engineering school, and they're even doing that. Most of those learners are very hands-on. That's why they're automotive technicians. That's their thing. But they're starting to combine education with, and it frees them up. It frees them up so they could do stuff on their own time, where they kind of watch some videos and things online, and then they show up at the shop. They have hours of online time watching and seeing it and hearing it, and they could even hear like engines and things like that online. And then they show up and do it in the real world classroom environment. That was really cool that they're really taking that to a whole new level and a new way of learning. Right. Even with that. I'm trying to think what other unique.
As instructors or teachers, which is what we've given ourselves now that role, Jill, you and I, it's our responsibility, in my opinion, to teach it all those ways. So we need to provide videos. We need to provide these podcasts. We need to provide, lead by example. We're doing it every day. And instructional videos and the whole thing. I already said that. So I think that this is a 21st century way of doing this.
Well, I look at even...
And then to follow up to the last point, as a student or a pupil, you kind of have a responsibility to use all those ways to learn too, not just one exclusively and expect it to all work. I see we have a few members that think that for some reason it's just they needed a textbook because that's how they learn.
Yes,
and while we do provide a pretty comprehensive, extremely comprehensive, in my opinion, written book that goes along with the education programs that we do, I think there are certain people who,
There are.
Sure, and that's fine.
There are.
And I personally take responsibility for that. In the next program that we do, I'm going to beef it up a little.
Yeah. Some people are a little bit, it goes back to what you just said, the learning way. And I'll tell you, Stephen, I'm one of those that if I'm really studying for something, I have highlighters and flashcards. I'm not kidding. Mm-hmm. So, and that's how I do it. So that's like I'm studying. Well, how about here's an example. When I was getting my private pilot's license, there were flashcards in my world. And you know what? And I saved those flashcards. I still have them because it's good to brush up on and everything. And I was reading, and then you go and apply it. Mm-hmm. And you get out, you get in the plane and you do it. But that's me. I'm not a video person so much.
Man, I'll tell you, I don't know what life would be like before YouTube.
That's all you.
Many times a day, I find what I'm trying to learn. Mm-hmm. Usually it's IT driven. I find it on YouTube and I play it on one monitor, mm-hmm. and whatever I'm trying to accomplish, I look at it on the other monitor and close the gap and get it done.
Right.
If you try to read that in a book, man, like Microsoft's famous for saying they're doing a textbook type thing where that's their help, their mm-hmm. way to help is to show you. They say, go here, do this, type on this, find this. It takes 5 years. Mm-hmm. Google's famous for doing instructional videos.
That's my way. It's so funny. It took you and I. How long did it take you and I to figure out? You used to get so mad at me going, just go on YouTube. And I'm like, that's not the way I learn. I finally got it. I hope I finally got it. So I'm just different. And that's okay.
Even then, it's a point of failure. I tried to change a headlight on a Lexus LS once.
Yes.
And trust me, it cost more money in the end than if I just would have taken it. That's beyond my skill.
Yeah. It would have been a 5-minute job.
It's a big job, man. It's a big job for me.
Got it. I have a couple points.
Yeah.
When I was thinking of this topic, I was thinking a little bit bigger. And I was thinking even education in the 21st century, not just how you're learning, but the value of real world experience in real world versus a book. The value of diving in and starting your own company and writing your own business plan versus just being in a classroom in a book and looking at the overhead, projection, dissecting somebody else's business plan. And even because we've done this, we've taught classes and done stuff like this. Going over the budget. Remember the budget, Stephen?
Yeah, I do.
And what was really funny is we were teaching a class for Northern Arizona University here. It was an upper division business class, and what we were called in to do that day was review this, fake company budget. Stephen found a couple things that were missing from the budget.
Yeah, like rent.
Yes. It was the funniest thing. So here we are, what the professor had left us to kind of review, make sure everybody had a really working knowledge of this. We kind of go through and talked about all the different things and everything from insurance and your management fees. We really went into a lot of detail.
Mm-hmm. It was too much detail.
Too much detail. I think we they were a little overwhelmed. But we found a few things that were missing, and you don't know that until you do it.
You know what I remember about that class?
Yeah.
Nobody learned anything, I don't think. And a lot of people went on Twitter afterward and said, man, that was a lot of fun.
We did get some Twitter feedback after that. That was actually funny.
So we're fun, but not, I didn't learn anything, but it was a lot of fun.
I know.
I mean, they didn't specifically say that. I just think, what happened is if somebody said, Steve, teach these kids about a budget, boy, I would have used a different budget. But they handed that to me and said, make these kids understand that this is the budget that they're going to use for this class. It was the first class of the year for them, or that term. Mm-hmm.
That was a little difficult, but you don't. My thing is, boy, until you do it and when you're out shopping, there's so many moving parts. When you're out looking at your burger joint and you're really assessing your building and the rent and the lease and all that stuff, there's a lot to think about. The equipment, the insurance.
My opinion is the only way to do that is to stand right next to somebody who's already done it 25 times. Man, you're going to save so much money and time.
You'll save.
you have to stand there next to somebody, maybe even partnership with them. So when the downfalls that you experience, somebody's already been through it and they can go right through it.
Right. Well, here's a point. If someone came up to me and I've been asked this, here's my thing. I've been asked this, and I'll be honest, I have yet to say yes.
What?
But people
I've never heard you say no. She can't even say no. She couldn't say no in that sentence. I have yet to not say yes.
No, I've yet to say yes. I said no.
Let me help you, Jill. It's no. It's
okay.
Same word in Spanish and stuff.
Here is my point, and I'm being honest. I have been propositioned by people who want to walk in my shadows and follow me around. And
no, I'm not.
The reason I have said no, I'll tell you why. So this is a good thing for everybody else. If you really want to do this and you want to learn from somebody, you can't just say, "Oh, I want you to be my mentor, but can I follow you around?"
What they're saying is, "Can you do this for me?"
No, I want to learn from you. I'm okay if I want to learn from you. No, I'm serious. Too. I think my people really want to learn from me. They didn't bring me anything. I did not feel it. I didn't feel it. I didn't feel that they were there for the right reasons, and I didn't feel they could help me in any way. Mm-hmm. So
I agree with you.
My point is, I'm agreeing with what you say. Mm-hmm. That's how the best way you can really learn something, whatever it is. You want to learn that guy's, glass installation business. Okay. You want to mentor the guy, you can't just call him up on the phone and expect him to say, "Sure, show up tomorrow. You can just follow me around." Mm-mm. You need to really do your homework. Absolutely. You gotta show him that you're in it, and you gotta bring something to the table like, "Hey, I've been studying 6 people in your niche, in your area. And you know what? This guy does it better, or I noticed this guy does this." Don't want to say better, but bring something to him that of value, and then you stand a much better chance of him saying, "You know what? All right, I will let you follow me around for a little bit. Let's do this."
Right. We're in the planning stages of teaching an in-person class to a select number of people. The number we keep throwing around right now is like 10 or 13. Mm-hmm. And we're putting together an interview process to be led into that class with it's a Skype video interview. And yeah, Jill, I absolutely agree with you. You need to bring some ambition and commitment to the table and really show that you're going to go follow through with it. Because that concerns me too. I mean, there's a lot of people that say, you pull up an expensive car and your life's going great. And there's a lot of people and they say, "Hey, there's something shiny. I want that." Right. "Hey, can you show me how to do that? Can you?" It's just a flippant thought. It's just 10 minutes later, it's going to be something else shiny.
Right. Or they're just not into it, and I'm not going to do it. So
yeah, I did that one time a long time ago, and I will never do it again.
Ask somebody?
No, they said, "Hey, I want to learn about this," and they didn't show up at all. That's the name of my book, by the way.
I know that.
You need to show up. Yeah. And I don't just mean stand there and pick your nose.
Exactly.
I mean, show up and give it your all. And,
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if you remember this. My very first office job when I was 20 was working for a couple of developers, real estate developers in Santa Ana, California. And I really wanted that job. Who knew how it would lead to all of this? I had a really good foundation with those guys. So, and one of the reasons that I got that job is I was persistent. The guy who eventually, Todd, who hired me later on said, "Jill, one of the reasons I hired you, because you wouldn't stop. I would call every day. I followed up.
Good for you, Jill.
I sent the letters. Back then it wasn't email and stuff too. It was physical writing letters. I wrote thank you letters. I did all the right stuff, and I really wanted that job, and I got that job. What's really funny is I did not look the part.
Did you have a nose ring?
No, I didn't, but I had still the punk rock hair. Yeah. So I had to I would flatten I had my hair to make it look presentable, kind of thing.
How old were you?
20.
Who's your favorite band when you were 20?
Depeche Mode.
Were you all punked out like Black Flag?
No, I wasn't all punked out, but I could dress the part on the weekends. I did.
Did you have like 3 kinds of mascara in your purse?
No, but I had bleached hair. I was growing out my bleached hair. Oh, it was awesome.
Did you have combat boots?
I did not have combat boots. Holly wore the Doc Martens. I had some other funky shoes, though. They had the thick soles, though. They looked like ska. I had some fun shoes. It was good.
So you were like,
we wore a lot of black, of course. I had an ammunition belt. That was one of my favorite things.
I still have an ammunition belt for very different reasons.
I think I saved it in my black leather jacket with a fringe. Oh, I didn't know. Mine was not real. Mine was all decorative, but it's heavy.
Crack me up, man. So it's kind of like a Southern California washed out version of.
Well, you're punk, man.
London punk.
You're punk. Where's L.A.?
Depeche Mode is not punk.
Did I tell you what my mom told me?
Yeah. Well, now you got to tell everybody.
Should I?
Yeah, every chance you get, you tell me this.
Oh. Is this a bad thing?
It really made an impression on you.
It did. So here I am walking down the street in LA late at night. I'm like, what's everybody's big deal? Why are they so afraid of being out at night? You know, even if you're alone walking home from, I'm not walking home, but I'm leaving a club, going to my car kind of thing. My mom said, Jill, because you're the one they're afraid of. I'm like, what? It was silly. It was a long time ago. I hope that wasn't too much information to share. It's a little late now.
Hey, Disneyland badass.
Okay.
You got anything else you want to say about education?
Yes. Experience versus real world. What we even see in students versus even in our employees. That was my last note that I had. I see it in our employees, and we hire this way too.
Yeah, me too.
You need to show up and want to be here, even though you're really, really good at books or whatever. It's an education where you go to work. So
well said. I had a football coach in high school. He's had a bunch of one-liners throughout my silly football thing in high school, and one of the things that he said to us that always stuck with me obviously forever was, if you're going to make a mistake, all of us were in high school constantly forgetting the plays. He had a complicated, and I mean complicated in a good way, playbook. He said, if you're going to make a mistake, if you've got the play, you better make it at 100 miles an hour. And that just stuck with me. I think it's true.
Because you're committed. No matter what, you were committed to it.
Yeah, don't do it halfway because you forgot the play. So
good advice.
I think that applies here. We have our whole crew is like that in Stay in Land Academy. And if they aren't, they're not here for long. Join us in another episode where Jill and I discuss your all-important success in real estate investment and in life. No, I never heard I've heard that story a lot, but I never knew that you had to exercise all that persistence to get it, Jill. I think that's a cool part of it.
I did. And I was, I was there for a couple of years. They went off and did other things. They were buying strip malls. They would buy the land and develop into strip malls, and they moved to other locations and things and took me with them. So I had a really good time and good foundation.
It's funny. The first commercial real estate job that I got was for the same reason. I had an interview. The guy called me the same day and said, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. And so I just called him for like 10 days straight. And he said, all right, well, you're giving me no choice. Now you have to work here.
Exactly. Yeah. I loved it.
Which, by the way, is what it takes in commercial real estate. It's all presence in commercial real estate. If you or the listeners don't know, is way more disorganized than residential real estate.
That's what we're doing.
Not one real place to go and get listings like the MLS. Commercial real estate, even this day and age, which is kind of timely for this topic, this 21st century education topic, even this day and age, it's very much who you know.
Yeah.
And after you do a couple of deals with a guy that makes sense, like there's land guys and there's office building guys and on and on and on. After you do a couple of deals with a contractor and that you like, they're stuck. It's an old boys network forever.
That's what this was.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's still like that.
Yeah. It was office buildings and strip malls.
I think it's good.
We had the same group all the time, the same bank lender. I mean, everybody knew everybody at that point. So exactly, what are we going to do now together kind of thing.
Hollywood's like that. I was talking to somebody recently about making a movie, and it's all accidental. It's all in passing that, so there's a million scripts in Hollywood. And there's a million actors, and it's all just in passing. I talked to this guy who's got a gap in time because he's not doing anything in March, and we're going to put this script looks good, and it's all just a big, huge accident.
Got it.
Which doesn't make sense. You'd think it's a little more organized than that. I don't know. Let's go buy some property.
We hold a drawing to win a free property every month. Enter to win by reviewing this show on iTunes and downloading our free ebook at landacademy.com.
If you want to get involved or you need more information about our profitable, niche real estate operation, call 480-467-0359. You just might get Jill at the other end of the line.
LandAcademy.com. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.